When starting a new budget, you can go to Setup and Budgets and click New to create a new budget. However, if you do that, that will be a separate file and you would not be able to see prior budget information from a prior year in that same file. I'm going to open up my existing budget called Direct Crops Budget and click OK. Now this budget was put in for the year of 2025, and if I go ahead and click OK on it, you'll see that it'll show me all of the budget information that was in there for 2025. If I want to extend that budget, I could go to File and Properties, and I could change the ending date of the budget to 12/31 of 26. And then I can click OK. And that'll expand it out to the end of 2026. However, I'm not seeing that change on the screen. In order to see that change on the screen, I can easily just go to Format, Predefined Layouts, and choose the monthly option. I would choose that I want to see budget information, and on the balance sheet, I'm going to choose book values. When that comes back, you'll see that I have my 2025 information, but then extended onto the end of the 2025 information are also columns for me to see 2026 and to enter in my 2026 budget. So now I can see, both sets of information, but looking at that prior year on a monthly basis presents a lot of columns. So one of the things that you might want to do is to just show the annual budget for 2025 or the prior year in a separate column, and then have all of the monthly columns for the current year's budget. So you can use the Format option for that. And if I go to Format Columns, you'll see that I have all of these different columns for both 2025 and 2026. But what I would like for 2025 is just one column that has all of the data in it and it shows the annual budget. In order to start reconfiguring these columns, I first need to get rid of this calculated column at the bottom. So I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to actually delete each of the 2025 columns. I'm just going to highlight each column and click delete and say yes, and then I'll continue to do that. I continued doing that for all of the columns until I was left with just one column for 2025. So I did that off screen so you didn't have to wait for me to do that. On that last column, what I'm going to do is just change my date range. I'm just going to change the date range so that it's January of 2025 to December of 2025. And I'm just going to label that column 2025 Annual Budget. Then I'm going to add a total column for the 2026 budget so that I can see a total of everything that I'm putting in for 2026. So I'm going to add a new calculated column. I'm going to say that it's a calculated column, and it is going to be a total column. And the columns that I'm going to add up are just the 2026 columns. So I'm just going to double click on each of those columns to include it in the formula. When I'm done, I'll click OK. And that column I could just label 2026 budget. And now I'm going to click OK. And you can see once this comes back that this is going to be a little bit easier to work with. I see all of my 2025 information in one column, and now I can work with my 2026 information in the monthly format. There's a lot less columns to have to look at. So that might be something that you want to do, is to use the Format option to reconfigure the columns once you've extended out the budget.